First, I folded my fabric into two using my shoulder measurement divided by 2 plus my sleeve length. So in total, I have 15 inches here on fold. Next, I drew a guideline at the top of the fabric, which is going to be my starting point. And then I went ahead to mark my length from this point. So the length I'm working with is 39 inches, including seam allowance. My actual length is 36 inches plus another 2 for seam allowance. So I went in a bit and I also marked the same 39. And then I will use my ruler now to connect both points to give me a straight line. So next, now I am going to mark the sleeve opening, which is 9 inches plus another 1 inch for allowance. So I marked 10 inches all in all. So remember, I have 15 inches on fold here, so I'm going to come to this sleeve opening point and mark 14 inches. That is coming in by 1 inch. Next, now I am going to come in by 1 inch again at this sleeve opening point, as you can see, and then I will take that all the way down, slanted out. You can take it down straight, it won't make any difference per se. Up here now, I went ahead to curve that part, and then next I marked the neckline. I marked 3 inches for the neck width, and then I marked 1.5 inches for the neck depth. Remember that this piece of fabric is the back piece. This is the back piece that I am working on right now. If you want it, if you want two fabrics at the back, then you might. Okay, so I went ahead to cut the neckline and then the shoulder, as you can see, and then I'm cutting the sleeve part and then the body of the dress. It's a very free boo, so there's no need for any half length or hip measurement per se. Your half of your shoulder measurement plus your sleeve length is definitely going to be more than your hip measurement. So this is it for the back. It has one color. The original design had two colors, so if you're going to use two colors, then you should do something similar to what I'm doing to this front piece now. So I have two colors of fabric placed right sides together. I'm going to go sew them together using 1/2 inch. Now the width of this fabric is the same as the front plus extra 1/2 inch for joining them together at the middle point. So I'm now placing the back piece on the front on that line where I stitched, and then I'm going ahead to cut out exactly the shape as you can see. Now at this point, if you want the red fabric to be on a specific side, you may want to place that on your body to be sure that it falls on the left or right where you specifically want it to be. Next, now I went ahead to cut the sides, as you can see, and then the length of the fabric. Now I'm going to keep the back piece aside, and then on this front piece now I will place my tape 1.5 inch on the neckline and then mark 8 inches down, which is the neck depth. I will connect that to the neck width with my ruler like so, and then I go ahead and cut it out. Notice that my slant stopped at the stitch that joins the two front pieces together. Next, now this is it after cutting. This is what the front neckline is looking like. I am going to cut the pocket pieces. So right here I'm measuring 10 inches wide and also 10 inches deep for the pockets. I'm going to be folding this later to form the actual pocket. So our pockets are not going to be 10 inches wide and 10 inches deep just yet. So one pocket is going to come in this color, and then the other pocket piece will come in the green material. After that, it's time to cut the facing. So I'm folding this piece now into two, as you can see, And then I'm going to place the front piece on the folded edge. Remember, I am placing it on the stitch. Where the stitch is where my center front starts from. So the extra ½ inch allowance is hanging off, and I'm going to trace off the neckline and a bit of the shoulder, and then keep the front piece aside. Then I went ahead to mark 3 inches for the width on the shoulder, and then from this neckline I also marked 3 inches, and then I made a curve to connect the 2 points together. Next, I went ahead to cut out, and then I'm going to go hem the sides and then place the right sides together with the front piece and sew the neckline down. I am going to be cutting another facing for the back piece as well. So this same fabric I'll fold into two. I folded it into two like so, and then I placed the back piece on it. The folded end are matching. The folded end of the fabric and the folded end of the facing are matching. I traced the neckline and a bit of the shoulder just like I did for the front. I marked 3 inches. I didn't have up to 3 inches here. I marked about 2.5 inches, and the same for the lower part, and then I made a curve to connect both points like so. Next, I went ahead to cut, as you can see, all the way around, and then just like the front, I'm going to go fold once on the lower part of this facing piece. Then I will open the back piece, the main fabric, and then place the facing piece right sides together with the main fabric like so, and I'll go sew on the neckline using ½ inch. Now this is the same thing I did for the front facing. So after sewing, this is what the front piece looks like. This is the facing part. So I'm going to use hemming gum now to glue down the facing to the main fabric on the wrong side. So I'll place the hemming gum underneath, spray some water, and then use my iron to glue that down. You don't have to cut your hemming gum into two. I was running low, so I had to improvise. Next, I am going to turn to the right side. I turn to the right side like you can see, and then I ironed it again, and then it's time to place the pocket. So I've gone ahead to fold my pocket one inch on both sides, like 1 inch on all the four sides. So I have like 8 inches long and 8 inches wide at this point, which I'm still going to reduce, and you would see. So from the on the front piece now, from the shoulder, I came down for to the half length. So the half length I'm working with is 16.5 inches. So I came down by 16.5 inches, and then from the midpoint I went out by 2 inches, and then I placed my pocket piece on that point. So I came down a bit to also mark 2 inches in from the center so that my pocket is truly straight. And then on the shoulder also I went out a bit and still marked the half length, which is 16.5, that I am working with. So placing the pocket, I can see that it is a bit wider than I would love it, so I went ahead to fold it again. So now my pocket is 8 inches wide, 8 inches deep, and 7 inches wide. So after placing the pockets in place, I'm going to use my pin. I used my pin to hold it in place while I work on the second pocket before I take it to my sewing machine. So for the second pocket piece as well, I'm going to reduce it so that it is 8 inches deep, just like the first one, and then 7 inches wide. So I placed it on top of the previous one and folded using my iron, just making sure that everything is aligned so they are exactly the same. I don't want one pocket wider or longer than the other. So after that, I went ahead to mark 2 inches outwards from the midpoint, just like we did the first time, and then half length from the shoulder, which is 16.5 for me. I came out a bit. I also did the same, marked it, and then I placed the other pocket piece on it. I also used my pins to hold this in place as well. And then I took this to my sewing machine to sew, starting from one end all the way down and back up, leaving the upper part open, which is the pocket opening, obviously. Same for the other pocket piece. Next, I went ahead to add hemming gum to the back neck facing as well, so that it holds together with the main fabric. After which, this is what the right side is looking like. After attaching the pockets, this is what I have. Next, now it's time to join the front and the back pieces together. So right side, this is the right side of the back piece facing up. I'm placing the right side of the front piece over it. As you can see, I'm going to go join the shoulder using 1/2 inch. You can also turn the facing piece of the back to the front and join them that way, so it's a bit neater. And or you can just join with 1/2 inch and interlock, which is fine. So after joining the shoulders, this is what we have on the wrong side. Next, I'm going to go fold the sleeve opening part, 1/4 of an inch and then another 1/4 of an inch. The same thing for the second sleeve part. After which I turn together the front and back pieces, right sides facing each other, and I sewed the sides using 3/4 of an inch, that's 0.75, and I also hemmed the lower part of the dress. And this very simple but gorgeous boo boo is ready. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video.